The very beginning of our Alumni Day. At this point, as you can see, we are just with all the preparations. We have our welcoming logo, and we have people who are arriving already, waiting for the vast majority of the participants. Also because it just happened that the rain made its way to this place, and it's just about to leave. So we were a bit afraid that it will continue, but at this point it seems like the sun is coming out, and that we will have a great experience, a great Alumni Day 2026. We welcome everybody already, and we will continue to be welcoming everybody who will still come to take part in this special, unique event. What you see here is books that have been written by members of the St. John's community, and what you see on the other part of the table, you see the yearbooks that people are well, taking a look at, remembering their classmates, their teachers. Here we have a group of people talking with our head of school, Mr. Foyle, and that's how this day is going. So once again, we welcome everybody, and we will have a great Alumni Day 2026.
Now, I'm a man carrying flowers. What does that suggest to you? Somebody said to me, what did you do wrong? So far, I hope nothing. Isabel McCarr, our lovely head of admissions, said that you shouldn't have. And I looked in the eye and said, I didn't. So these flowers are for my personal assistant, who this week has not only been instrumental in putting this together with the help of others, she has also sort of managed a virtual tour filming thing, which is super intricate. A lot of the stuff that the admissions team do is online through Teams, and so our virtual tour has to be just so. So she was very creative this week, very well organised, and worked extra hard as she does most weeks. So to Deirdre, I'd like to say thank you very much. And here is a little thank you for my appreciation. I won't get in the way. The objective here is for you to reconnect, have great fun. We are going to take you on a bit of a tour later to show you the place, which is also always interesting because we find out how the place used to work, how spaces were used previously, and obviously you'll find out how we're using them now. And then at the very end, we'll take you into the PAC Theatre, the Performing Arts Centre Theatre, and Joe and I are just going to say a few words to you. I'll tell you a little bit about what we're up to now, and Joe will, I'm sure, reflect on the many successful years he had here as well. But great to have so many of you here. We're expecting a few more between now and then, and so yeah, mingle, enjoy. Please come and see if there's anything we can do to help. But once again, great to have you here. Thank you very much for coming.
Very nice.
We're doing well.
Do you mind if I take a picture? Okay.
And that's how we continue. Now we are having more presence, as you can see. We are now having most of people just reconnecting with one another, and we will continue in a few more minutes. We will have the opportunity to go having some lunch together, some pasta, and later on we will have the tour of to the school. We'll go around, and we will have a moment in the park.
So lately we have changed the sports foyer. We have made a little renovation. For this summer we are planning to renovate some classes, and once we will arrive to the Visual and Performing Arts Center, you will see a big brand new reception as well. Please feel free to stop in the classrooms and tell stories one to each other. Remember fun things that happen in those classrooms, and have a good laugh. Yeah, so we are gonna start here, and then we are gonna go upstairs to see the science department, and then we are gonna cross all the middle and high school, where I think you spend a lot of time in the sea level, which was your fun place, right?
Are we going to the chapel?
And we are gonna stop also. We're gonna stop also to our archives, where Dr. Castillo has put a lot of things together. So don't forget to have a look in your yearbook to see how you looked a few years ago. Yeah? Enjoy the
Doenges, who's going to tell us a little bit about his time here and his reflections on what this place meant to him and things that happened during the period 1998 to 2008.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for inviting me to make a few comments. And I hope I don't make too many to keep you here too long, but I do have some things I want to share with you. First of all, I would like to recognize Nadine Thidka, who's sitting 1, 2, 3, 4 rows back. She was my administrative assistant during the 10 years that I was here. And what is significant about her, she spent 43 years at St. John's. Longest tenured employee in the history of the state. And a shout out to the class of 2001. We came across them in the bar last night over at the hotel. And the class of 2006 and 2016 as well. Thank you for making the effort and spending the money to come back and visit and to renew the old friendships. Putting things in a historical perspective, the school started under the leadership of Sister Mary John Shannon. And she served in that capacity. She was an Irish nun at FCJ, Faithful Companions of Jesus, and she served in that capacity for 17 years. And she was here for the first graduating class. Now, we don't have anybody here for the first graduating class, but we do have somebody here from the second graduating class of 1975, Michael Devlin, right there. So I mentioned the first graduating class was 1974. And I've told this story a number of times because it was fate. It was just the right vibes. Because with that first graduating class in 1974 came the Eurovision Song Contest. And about the same time that St. John's produced its first graduating class, ABBA won the Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo. It was truly fate, and certainly we used that connection many times, especially when we had social functions and basketball games, halftime music. Everybody knew they were in Waterloo. Sister Barbara followed. Sister Mary John and Sister Barbara served in the capacity for 20 years. Before she retired. And Sister Barbara had a vision that this would become one of the premier schools for the performing arts in the international school circuit. She passed it off to me. I came, and some of you will remember when I came in 1998, and I was here for 10 years and left in 2008. A lot happened in that 10-year period. So I took Sister Barbara's first plan, went to the commune with it. It was for a theater. And it was going to be just off of Champ de Boussard, a little tiny road in the back there. It was going to be built on that road. The neighbors did not like the idea at all. They opposed it at the commune, and the commune denied the building permit. So we went back to square one and thought, well, what do we have to do to get permission to do all this? And we started buying some of the properties on Champs de Roussac. And we bought 6 homes in the field. It is now between the boarding house and timber tops. And of course, that was 6 fewer neighbors. And we tore all that down, and now it's a very nice sports field. We then changed architects to a Japanese firm called Takanaka. We had a Romanian architect, Stefan Bock, very international. And they said, well, we can't build the theater. We can't even apply for a work permit until we do something with food service. Because if you remember, those of you that were here in the early years, the cafeteria was right over here. And so if we took out the cafeteria, we wouldn't be able to do the lunch circumstances every day. So why don't we address the cafeteria problem first, and then come back and do this theater situation second? And so basically we said, all right, but if we do that, we got to do a little bit more than that. So the old gym, right across the courtyard area, and some of you were performing artists in that because it served as a secondary gym and it served as the performing arts center as well. It was very, very primitive. And so the architects came up with a plan to split it in 2. Bottom floor, cafeteria, top floor, science labs. And so then we said, well, we've got to do something about removal of the gym. We can't lose one of the 2 gyms. I said, well, we'll put a new gym next to the old gym. We have to get all that done before we can build a theater so that everything falls into place sequentially. So that's what we did. It was a 2 or 3 year process, a lot of inconvenience while everything was underway, but it turned out very, very nice, and you can see what that arena has meant to the school and those labs and the cafeteria. So once that was done, then we immediately turned our attention to the theater. But there was still a problem with the theater. And that was the little gingerbread house that sits on the road right behind us here. And there was I say this affectionately, there was a little old lady that lived in that house. She was 80 years old. She was a retired nurse. And she didn't want to move. And she wouldn't sell us the house. We had to have the house to build the theater. And so I went to her and I proposed a deal. And I said, if you'll sell us the house, and of course the land around the house, so that we can build our theater, then you can live in that house for the rest of your life rent-free. And she smiled and said, I'll do it. And so we closed on the deal. She lived another 5 or 6 years in that house before she passed. But now we had title to the house, and of course the house still belongs to the school. But we also now had the use of the land. So Takanaka, the contractors from Japan, and Stefan Bock, the architect from Romania, and the subcontractors were French and Belgian. They got busy. It took 2 years to build this facility. It was not as difficult because it didn't interrupt the flow of classroom instruction as did the previous phase of construction. We got it done. I mean, St. John's was established by Roman Catholic nuns, but over the years, it became a Christian school that wasn't specifically associated with Roman Catholicism. And then by the time I left, All religious traditions were involved. We had Muslim children, we had Jewish children, and of course Protestants and Catholics as well. It was a great mix of all religious traditions. And so the point when I say take care of your faith is if you take care of your faith, whatever that faith is, when you don't need it, it'll take care of you when you do need it. And the final take care is take care of your family. And I'm not just talking about parents, siblings, children. Of course, take care of them. That's your immediate family. Well, when I say take care of your family, that extends to what we have here today. Take care of your St. John's family. Keep those friendships alive. Keep those memories alive. Take care of your St. John's family as well. Take care of one another. And thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you and to visit with you and to relive the memories that I certainly enjoyed during my 10 years at St. John's. Thank you for coming.
Joe, thank you for your recollections and your wise words. Just one last thing before we break off to continue with the festivities of this Alumni Day and weekend. We don't underestimate the great legacy that Joe and the nuns who founded this school have left us. We still are benefiting from it today. And just one example of the skill that this man brought to the role, and you know, he's talked about these building projects. I've done a few of those in my time, and they're not easy. That's a big challenge that you overcame. There was one thing, a story that he told me was that when they were planning this place, they'd raised a lot of money. Again, another skill which Joe had in spades. But they were short of a fairly sizable six-figure number because the commune insisted upon there being some underground car parking, which in this modern age is perfectly reasonable, except we didn't have the money to build the building. So Joe went into action and persuaded one family, the Casarcos family, after whom this theatre is named, to support him, as he'd asked other people previously, and they came through. And that's why we have this wonderful theatre, and we're able to produce all these wonderful experiences for our current students. So since this was opened in 2005, hundreds and hundreds of students, both St. John's students and students from the local area, have benefited from this and other facilities. So Joe, thank you for your legacy. You should be proud of it. We're very proud of it. I think Deirdre and the team are still at the bar, but imagine after your long round you may be thirsty, so please go and avail yourself of that. It will be closing fairly shortly, but it's been great having you back. Please stay in touch with us and encourage others to do so as well, because this is a very special community that we're all part of. Thank you very much.